Thank you very much, Michael. Hi, my name is Don. I'm here to talk to you about the internet economy today and the trends that we're seeing here in Stripe. So the internet has been with us for about 20 years. But at Stripe, we think we're really just at the warm-up phase. So we're just at the pre-season to the internet really realizing its full potential as an engine for commerce. So even though payments has been part of the internet since the early stages, 5% of global GDP right now, consumer spend, is online. So 5%. When you think of the last 20 years, that's as far as we're after getting. I mean, it's an incredibly low number when you think about all of the access on the internet over the last number of years, but also the amount of time that we spend on our device every day. To understand why that's the case, why there is that disconnect for the amount of time we're spending in the last 20 years and 5%, we're going to take a little bit of a step back through the history of the internet. And we go back to the original internet protocol. So this is HTTP. This was the standard that was developed in the early 90s, the standard by which web servers around the world would create implementations. So we look at some of the error codes on this. So we have the error code 404. This is something that you guys would have seen quite often, and it's request could not found, not found. So another error code would be 403, which is forbidden. This is the web server understands the request, but the user doesn't have access to that particular page. Okay, so there's another one, which is a less known error code, which is 402, and this is payment required. Now, if you look a bit deeper and you look at the actual standard description for this, this code is reserved for future use. And this is the way it is since 1992 until today. It's an important point because the original architects of the internet understood that commerce was a key part of the infrastructure of the internet, but they never created a standard for it. And because there was no standard, then there were no proper implementations for payments over the internet. So this became the founding obsession for Stripe in the early days, to create fast, simple, standardized payments across the internet. But as we started pulling on that little string and tried to fix the area of the online payments, we noticed that there were a whole other set of problems started to unspool. So problems that entrepreneurs and developers face every day to start businesses and to run businesses online. So today, Stripe is focused on building infrastructure for this new internet economy, to create tools and services that will enable entrepreneurs and developers create these new online businesses. So today, Stripe works with hundreds and thousands of these internet businesses all over the world. And some of them are the most innovative companies that we're seeing in this space. And because we have this bird's eye view, we can see the emerging trends of businesses right now that are going to be funding the innovation for the next number of years. So what I'd like to do is look at some of those top trends that we're seeing and share some of those insights with you. Okay, so the first trend that we're seeing is that there's a new wave of business models being created. So these are business models that weren't even invented 5 years ago. Okay, so we're going to run through 4 categories of business models that we're seeing in this new internet economy. So first one is around on-demand marketplaces. So this is where you have the shared economy, you have technology platforms that are combining buyers and sellers from offline to do offline services. You can imagine the likes of Hassel or Deliveroo and almost moving like a cash economy online. Now, the reason that these companies were not in abundance 5 years ago is because if you look at, say, delivery service like Deliveroo, for them to take one payment from a customer and then split and drive that payment off to either the restaurant and the delivery service, and for them to take a cut themselves, they would have had to create engineering teams to build this payment infrastructure ever before they actually provided their service. Today, companies can work with off-the-shelf technology to do this for them. It allows them to concentrate on the service that they're providing. The next one is around crowdfunding platforms like Kickstarter. And what they're doing is funding companies and ideas and projects from all over the world. It has never been easier to raise capital for a project than it is today. And we're seeing this innovation happening everywhere. Next area is around software as a service. So you have companies like Teamwork, Intercom here in Ireland, and they're using the latest and greatest technologies to really reinvent how companies are using their own internal services and how they're going to market. And the last area is around store builders. With these new store builders like Shopify and Squarespace, entrepreneurs can now set up an online store within minutes. The next trend, as Colin mentioned earlier, is around mobile. But what we're seeing is the Western world is really playing catch up to our partners in Asia. So if you look at, say, an example, we've got WeChat, a very popular instant messaging service in Asia. So in that one app, you can order your online groceries, you can get your clothes cleaned, and you can order travel tickets right within the same app. And the result of this type of innovation is that if you look at China, of the percentage of all e-commerce in China, 50% right now is going through the mobile device. If you compare that to the paltry 12% that we have in Europe, like we're really just in the starting blocks of using that mobile device as a revenue-generating platform. Another note on this is we're really hitting an evolution point in the industry where the next billion people that are going to come online, they're going to come online faster, and they're going to be accessing the internet with the mobile device as their primary device. So as this happens, and we see this trend, it's the companies out of Asia are really poised to take advantage of this. Okay, the third trend that we're seeing is really around startups going international and bigger, faster. Okay, international expansion was once reserved for those highly capitalized companies with the larger teams. And actually, quite often, was probably at the end of the arc of a stage of a startup. So that's no longer the case. So as startups are gaining access to this technology, they're rapidly becoming scale-ups, and they're going international at much earlier stages. Today, if you look at that modern technology stack, so companies like Stripe, AWS, making it possible, like without having to build very large engineering teams, that they can get access to that that infrastructure, almost like those business APIs and the cloud infrastructure, to scale and enter new markets, no matter where in the world that they're based. So for you as a business, what are the opportunities that lie ahead for you? It's easier than ever to start an internet business or to build a new revenue stream. So as a budding entrepreneur, you now have the possibility to, within the first couple of days, get up and running and almost instantly gain access to a new global market. As an existing business looking to either build a new revenue stream or engage with your customers in a different way, you can now do that in a possible, affordable way by partnering with the right technology stack. As we said before, there's an entirely new categories of companies that are now emerging. We really are at the golden age of the developer. With the right tools and services in their hands, we have no idea what they're actually going to create. So if you look at the companies that are right now, that are the ones that are driving the innovation that didn't even exist 5 years ago, what's going to happen in the next 5 years? And finally, there is going to be more cross-border commerce. So if you look at the internet is theoretically borderless, but there are issues with moving payments around from China, from the east to the west. Now, those artificial barriers are being reduced. And when that happens, you're going to have online merchants from everywhere being able to engage and sell to consumers anywhere, creating a true mobile marketplace. And we hope that Stripe is going to be at the center of making that happen. Thank you.